All right, buenos dias and Shavua Tov. Simona Buena. Today is the 7th of Adar, the day of the birth and the passing of Moshe Rabbeinu. Specialty day. Many people fast on this day, but it is indeed a time to reflect on the greatness of Moshe Rabbeinu, just like the Rambam says. He was the greatest of all prophets. He would receive prophecy directly and not through some sort of medium of a vision or a dream. And so, Bechol Beti Ne'eman Hu, he was Ne'eman, he was available to Hashem, and Hashem was available to him at any given time. That's Moshe Rabbeinu. There is there is a midrash that says Amar Rabbi Chanin, and it's also brought in the Gemara. Rabbi Chanin says, "Man de Amar Rachmana Vatranu." Whoever says Hashem just forgets about things and lets it go and doesn't take things into accountability, Yivatrun me'ohi, then his own essence or self will also be forgotten or weakened. Aval ma'arich ruchei v'gabei dilei. What does that mean? That if we see something or someone doing something evil, doing something bad, and we see, hey, look at that. This doesn't make any sense. Why wouldn't God punish them? Why wouldn't God go after them? Look at them. They're thriving. They're happy. Nothing happened to them after all the evil they've done. So said the Gemara, don't worry about that. It doesn't mean that God didn't see it, doesn't know it, or will not give them retribution or the consequence for their actions. Rather, he just has patience. He just lets it slide for a little bit, but then he will, of course, make them accountable for what they have done. And what does that have to do, says Rabbi Benchlouch, with the story of Purim? He says that all the brothers of Yosef, not only did they sell Yosef as a slave, they also sat down to eat. They had a meal after they sold him as a slave. Now, we don't understand. I'm reading what it says here. But it says that not only they sold him, they also had a feast. Without worrying about that, he says that when Haman and Achashverosh were selling, or when Achashverosh sold the Jews to Haman, putting them as a decree to annihilate all the Jews, what happened to them? They also, V'amelech v'Haman yashvu lishtot. They sat down to have a feast. They were drinking. They were having a good time. Also, the 10 tribes sold, or the 10 brothers sold Yosef. Achashverosh was given 10,000 coins for that matter. And so there's a strong resemblance to that. And our salvation in the time of Mordechai and Esther against Haman and Achashverosh specifically happened with Mordechai, Ish Yamini, from the tribe of Binyamin. Number one, because Binyamin did not sell the brothers. But secondly, when all the brothers, after Yaakov Avinu, meets Esav for the second time, Yaakov bows down to Esav. There's a whole question why he did so. He shouldn't have done so. And by doing so, he gave koach, he gave ability, credibility, and acknowledgement to Esav that lasted until today. That bowing down to Esav. Not only did Yaakov bow down to him, all the children bowed down to him, correct? All the children and the wives. But the only one that didn't bow down to him was Yosef, and Binyamin was not born yet. So about Yosef, but Binyamin was not born yet. And because he's the only one that, number one, didn't participate in selling Yosef, number two, didn't participate in bowing down, acknowledging, giving koach and credibility to Esav, only through that we were able to have his ability, his descendants, to be able to save us from the time of Haman and Achashverosh. And for that we see, says Rabbi Benchlouch, look at the power of holiness, look at the power of Dusha, look at the power of overcoming, of not participating in something wrong, not participating in acknowledging evil or bad or anything that resembles Esav in our life, and also the power of Yosef, how he was able to see, because he called back Binyamin when he sold, when he finally found the brothers. He said, I want Binyamin to be with me, I want him to be back. Basically, Yosef saw that, says Rabbi Benchlouch, for generations to come. We see the greatness of his ability and all the abilities of the big sages or the leaders of Am Yisrael, the Chachamim, to be able to see and have such insight to such a far length of time. Baruch Adonai L'olam. Amen. Amen.